Hi, I'm Steve. I'm a husband and a father. I'm a student and I'm a coach. Hey, I'm Steve. I'm Canadian. I was originally born in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So French, c'est ma première langue. That's my first language. My parents moved when I was about 10 years old from Montreal to Edmonton, Alberta. And my dad moved because there was a lot of political chaos in Canada. There was something called a language police in Montreal at the time, in Quebec actually, if you didn't put everything in French first. So from an economic standpoint, my parents being Anglophone, we took a move and we went all the way across the country to Edmonton, Alberta. And when we moved there, my dad started his own renovating company. And my dad was extremely busy and extremely motivated. So in order for me to spend time with him, I had to go to work with him. So when I was 10 years old, I started selling newspapers and I got the feel of what it was like to start knocking on doors. Then as I got older and my dad was working so often, I started knocking doors for his company. So at the ripe old age of around 13 or 14, I was introduced to meeting people blindly and figuring out what I could do, what they wanted, what they were interested in, if they were pulling my leg, and so many other things like that. So I had a really, really interesting upbringing in that world. And because I had already had a head start in knocking on doors, talking to strangers, figuring out the whole process of finding out if a prospect could become a client, that's the way I started moving through life, literally, was because I understood people and their motivators. And as I was going through my career in real estate, eventually I found my wife and moved to San Diego, where she was from. And when I moved over here, I knew no one. I basically left a very prominent career back home that I started in 1993. I moved to San Diego in 2008, went through all of my immigration, and then early 2009, got my broker's license, started looking for a place, and the next thing I knew, I found myself at Whissel Realty. At this point in my life, it's really about possibilities. So my why is, how do I want to live my life? What do I want to leave behind? And what am I interested in at least exploring or tackling? And I've had a lot of amazing mentors in my world that I've seen do exceptional things. And if you think about it, how did they do it? How did they get there? I feel, again, very, very blessed that in my real estate career, I've been able to have a very successful career, invest in different properties, have different partnerships. Like, this career has done so much for me. So I had to shift my why once I got out of a scarcity mindset and wondering if I was going to be able to do it and accumulate enough and take care of my family. And then my why shifted, and it shifted into, what can I do? And so now it's really about possibilities and turning those possibilities into actions and having those actions become real. My family really is my priority. Spending as much time with my wife and my children, which again, my wife also leads a very, very busy life with the things that we do professionally here with breeding of our Bengal cats. And then we have our children in as many activities as they can possibly be involved in. So I love spending time with our kids. And one of the things that we did this past year was just get annual passes to a big theme park, so that we can go and we explore and I can just turn things off. Because for me, one of the big motivators is my dad worked so much, so the only way I could spend time with him was to go to work with him. I don't want my children to experience that same thing. I want to experience my children's world. What's fun for me, right? At the ripe old age now, 50 years old, fun has actually changed, right? There's an evolution of what we enjoy in life. When I was younger, just anything I could do, explore, travel, all of those things were really fascinating for me. But at this point, because I lived such a full life and I did everything that I needed to do, I felt, before I got married, in that sense. So now, fun for me is really just talking to my kids or hanging out or going on a bike ride with them, or just being able to provide time, whether it's alone time for myself, with my animals, with my wife, with my kids. I don't need a lot. So bike rides with friends at times, just chilling out all by myself. There's absolutely no perfect, but I'm just very in tune with what I need because of all the responsibilities that I have in my life, that I just pay attention to what I need in that moment, whether that's family time, alone time, being with my animals, meeting up with my friends. So that perfection for me, honestly, is really about reading where I'm at. So when I first moved from Canada, got my green card to be here, got my broker's license, I knew one thing. I didn't want to go to a big brokerage. I didn't want to be in a big brokerage model. I wanted culture and community. And as I was looking at different brokerages or places to work online, even though it was like antiquated and a little bit janky, Whissel Realty just had all of this advertisement everywhere. You know, I was finding them on Facebook, I was seeing them on YouTube, and I didn't really get that vibe from any other brokerage, and something with it connected to me because it felt honest. And our office has always been innovating. So as many times as I get emails or phone calls or text messages to change or leave brokerages, I can't. There isn't a place out there that I've seen that's more proactive, more professional, more connected, more in tune, and also leading the way in this industry. So I love where I work. It's never been a thought to go somewhere else, because if I did, I'd be making a lateral move. One of the things that I'm extremely passionate about when I call myself a professional in this business is I am determined to get things done for the people that I represent. And in San Diego currently, I think there's about 26,000 licensed agents, and more every day, and some people are coming and going. But one of the things that I pride myself in is that I care more about the client and the experience and getting it done for them than whatever my interests may be in representing them. It's all about them. And I work my tail off in order to always be able to find an angle or provide something for my clients. And I just want people to understand that this exists in every industry. Real estate is no different. It doesn't matter if it's insurance, if it's a CPA, if it's an attorney, but be very, very careful about who you work with and who represents you. Because unfortunately, a lot of consumers choose the very first person that they contact, met in an open house, reached out about an online lead. And I want you to know that there are significant differences, and you owe it to yourself to actually explore what those differences are, because our average price point in San Diego County, it's expensive. And so this isn't, hey, just work with somebody that says they're a professional. Feel it out, understand what you're getting into, see what somebody has to say. You're either making a very high 6-figure or a 7-figure purchase. And to me, that's not something that's taken lightly. And I just want everybody that has an opportunity to watch this video to think about that, because you're important, your experience is important, but not every, and I'll say professional, not every professional in this business actually sees you that way. What I want to leave you with is reaching out to me, talking to me, having a real estate conversation with me, or even an outside of real estate conversation with me. It's always something that I'm open to. Whatever I can share as far as the contacts, the resources, what I've learned in this business, or just sitting down and having lunch or a drink and getting to know somebody. I'm very, very broad in what I like to experience and what I like to share. So in real estate, please, if you have any questions, if you want to know anything, whether it's valuation on your house, areas, what the market's doing, how we're trending, never hesitate to reach out to me. There's no obligation required to work with me, to reach out to me. I always just want to make sure that people are served and that they get the questions answered that they need answered, and also have the question answered properly. That's a big deal to me. So never hesitate to reach out, whether you know anybody that's considering buying, selling, or just wants to have that conversation. I'm always open to it. Or if you need a connection, I can't even tell you how broad my contact list is when it comes to different professionals, whether it's CPAs, attorneys, wealth managers, anything you can think of, I have somebody that's already been vetted. So I look forward to being a complete resource, not just a real estate broker to you. Thank you.